is Debbie's Design Diary and Jamie Ray Vintage. My name is Kenise, and I'm here to ask some questions of our lovely panel. We're having a Q&A today at the grand opening of Debbie's new store, the DIY Go-Go. And Debbie has invited a lot of her close friends and fellow business people and creatives here. We have Dion Woods at the end, our turquoise iris. We have Josie from Paint Pixie. We have Josie and Sally, the IOD, Ryan Orchid Design sisters. Of course, our fearless leader, Debbie Beard. And Jamie and Zeb Ray from Jamie Ray Vintage. So is this a great crowd or what? So thank you all for coming. We did ask you to submit questions, and if you're watching live, if you want to ask some questions, we have some people who are going to help us with your questions. So if you have a question, please tell us who it's directed to. So we're actually going to start off with a great question from one of our DIY retailers, Michelle Ann, and this is for everybody, and it's a great question. She wants to know, what is the most important thing you do every single day to help grow your business?
Oh, every single day. I'm the first one, huh? I thought we were going to start that way and come around.
You can do it.
The most important thing I do every single day to grow our business is just keep moving forward. Essentially getting things done, getting tasks done, and finding those things that I have on my list to do that are most critical and finishing those first.
I don't think there's anything I do every day except for probably pray. Like, that's the first thing I do in the morning is pray, and I ask for guidance, and then the rest of the day is kind of whatever it is that happens.
She's the wise one in our
I love this question because I'm the type of person who is just very task oriented, and I can get annoyed if people interrupt the train, like it's like a freight train and it's just going. And I've been doing that for the last 40 days trying to get this store open. And then yesterday, or when was it? Yeah, yesterday, the first day of the grand opening, my sister sent me this verse from the Bible, Corinthians 13, about love. And if you haven't read the verse, it basically says you can have all the things, you can have all the knowledge and speak in all the languages, but if you don't have love, you have nothing. And to remind myself every day, the reason why I do what I do is for love of all of you, and hopefully, that you feel encouraged and inspired, and that I'm a source of encouragement, because creativity for me has been a lifesaver. And it doesn't matter if there's things in there that aren't painted and cobwebs and my toenails haven't been pedicured since COVID started. What matters is the love. And so that's what I try and do every day, is remind myself of the core reason why I do what I do.
Yeah, I would say that always striving to start the day with just centering and just really asking the Lord to just remind me, and I just spend some time in the scriptures and have some devotion time to just really center myself, always trying and striving to do that. But right now it's like critical for me, because there is so much negativity and fear, and you can really get caught up in that. And so I think right now I have found it so calming to just spend some time, however much I'm able to spend with 5 kids and running a business. It's, a crazy life, but it's critical right now, especially, to just spend that time centering and allowing the Lord to remind me what is important.
Yeah, I'm just going to kind of piggyback on what you two said, because so much of it for me is checking my mindset in the morning. Why, I mean, whether it's business or just life, why am I doing this? And being reminded of why I'm doing this. Lord, help me remember why I'm doing this, and help equip me to, you know, when things happen on the daily, especially right now, when you log on to social media and you see people just, if you think or believe this, unfriend me now, or if you think or believe that, unfriend me now. And I was actually just talking to Aaron, I'm like, you know what? Our tribe of people and our tribe of retailers in our stockist group are so all over as far as their political beliefs and their beliefs, and I'm like, and we get to be connected with all of them, and that is a blessing, because that is why we're getting to do this, to love on people, to reflect our Maker, and to pour in love into the people that we strive to serve. And so checking our why is a huge thing for us. That's that spiritual component and that service component. So
I'm not used to speaking like all of you. I don't do as many lives, so I'm a little nervous. But of course, like everybody said, we are like that every day, praying. And I pray during this time, honestly, for my retailers. It has, that their businesses continue. And it's not for me. I honestly, don't tell my husband I said this, but it's not for my financial gain, why I started this business. It's to get a great product out there, and for anybody who buys into it to be proud of it and make money. And so it does start with prayer. At night, it's thank you, God, for giving me all of you, and so that's the most important. But aside from that, I honestly am always thinking of the next product. I go to bed thinking, okay, right now we're ready to come out with another product. I'm like, okay, what can I do next so that it's a better product? We do a lot of, especially with Dion, I'm real excited about some things, and we're getting ready to launch some new things, but we have to brainstorm. And so anyway, that's what I do. Every day.
I guess this is going to be a lot more simple than theirs, but thinking about one thing that I feel like I do every day that is definitely, it was to move my business forward, right? I think it's to paint. It's kind of my life support, the safe place where no matter what's going on in the world, man, give me the brush. And when I do go through that process, or whatever it is, sometimes it's just 30 minutes, but I have to do it. And then I'm reminded why I'm doing it, and why I'm doing all the hard things that I don't want to do sometimes, but I get to paint for a living. It's wild. So anyway, I don't know why I'm tearing up, guys. But there's a grateful heart that comes with that I get to paint. And so that's what started. The business came after I just wanted to paint. So moving my business forward is just painting each day, reminding myself why I'm doing it. And it gets through all of the other things that you don't want to do, like the grungy stuff. But anyway, I think that's my best answer is I paint every day, and that's helps me grow.
So I think I can talk loud enough with the microphone to Debbie. So Debbie, this is for you and also for Jamie and Zeb. And they want to know from Linda Jennings' card, what is the first thing to do when starting a YouTube channel?
Debbie's got that one.
I started my YouTube channel in 2012, and I was terrified. I'm an introvert and very tech challenged, and at the time flat broke, so I didn't have any fancy equipment. And when you first start your YouTube channel, the approach that I took was, okay, I know I'm not good in front of the camera. I know that I don't have anything but this crappy phone and no microphone, so I'm gonna make the project so good that they have to watch it. Like, I love that quote, I can't remember who said, but be so good that they can't ignore you. So I would just rack my brain and come up with something that would be something that someone wants to watch, and then I edited the bejesus out of my videos. Like literally, I was, even now you can tell, I ramble, I repeat myself, and so I even edit out when I take a breath. If I say the word if I say something twice, because I always have in mind, I think on YouTube, it's all about the watch time, how long people watch you. So I'm always thinking, are they gonna get bored? So I play back the video and it's like, if I start getting bored, if there's a lull, I cut it. I just chop, chop, chop. And I think that is really key on YouTube to make sure that you're keeping their attention, because that's what YouTube looks for. And they have an actual machine, the YouTube algorithm, that tracks when people fast forward or stop watching you. So if you want to start a YouTube channel, just be very mindful that if you're bored watching yourself, other people are going to be bored. And to just chop, just edit, and keep going, and just give it your best and do it consistently. You'll do way better than I do.
Well, that's because we're not so picky. So, I wouldn't have a YouTube channel if it wasn't for Zeb. Because Zeb was like, we have to have a YouTube channel. I'm like, well, that's not going to pay the bills. So I would say just do it. Like already get over it and get the camera on and make a freaking video. And even if you suck and you spray paint lamps in your kitchen, after 5 years, it's still going to get 100,000 views, because that's what happened. And it was not great. But if you just do it and then every day do it a little better, eventually it turns into something great. But if all you ever do is worry about if it's going to be good enough, then it will never be good enough, because you never get started. So just do it. And whatever it is that you have to do, like our channel when we first started was whatever custom work that we had, that was the how-to we did, because we did not have time to make separate content. It was just what our life was, and we didn't even think about it. Like that's just what it was, and then people are like, you're so real, and I'm like, because I do not have time otherwise. Like, that's how it is. But also, Zeb edits all my videos, so here.
So I went first and now I go last. This is not working out for me. I'll just regurgitate what they said or give a bad answer first. But I would say be consistent. If you're going to start, don't stop. Just continue being consistent with anything. If you do it enough, eventually you will get good. Those first 10, 15, 20 videos, they don't have to be mind-blowing. No one's going to really see them anyway, because you only have 10 subscribers or 100 or whatever it is. But just keep going, keep editing, like Debbie said, you got to edit that down. And if you have an hour of footage, your video should be 6 minutes long when you're done.
This question is for Dion from Tracy Wright. What do you personally consider to be the most challenging aspect of your business?
I didn't see that on the list earlier, so I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, one of the most challenging aspects for me in my business would be figuring out what to do next, what's priority. I think prioritizing it. And I intentionally put myself out there to do a lot of different things, but prioritizing. So when I said a second ago that I paint every day, there are those days where I don't have time to paint because I have some other things that I want to do, but that would be my biggest challenge, is finding out priority. And then the way I determine priority is, one, you do have to talk to your social media, making sure I communicate, reply, thank you, check my messages, do all of the things that I don't have a business if I don't have people that are interested in watching or interested in buying or interested in being in my membership. So I think I always have to remember, what do I need to do for them? And then I will do the other things. I don't know if that, I kind of jumped around there, but I'm always thinking social media wise, say thank you, do the things and communicate, get to know, and make it about the people as well. And then I'll filter in the other things, I guess, as I go.
Do we have somebody in the audience that wants to ask a question? Wants to come up?
No pressure, none at all.
Kind of like when you're at church and I ask somebody to come bear testimony.
Because I've got a mic waiting on you if you do. Do you have a question back there? No. All right, sis.
On Facebook, you have one question that they want to know where Debbie gets her music from on YouTube. It's very inspiring, they say.
Okay. There's several ways to get music on YouTube. YouTube has a free music library that you can start with. There's a company called Epidemic Sound, which is a subscription service where you pay, I think it's $9 a month, and you have it's $20 a month? Okay, $20 a month. And I use one called MusicBet, which is, they base it on your subscriber count. So the more subscribers you have, the higher the price, which I think it should be opposite, but I do use them. But with any music, the way that I get music is I go to my music library, and it's a huge search engine, like Google in a way. There's so many songs, and they have them categorized by mood. So I will go in and I'll find 10 sad songs, and I'll just have it like, I consider it like the soundtrack of my YouTube channel. So I will have 10 sad songs, 10 happy songs, 10 inspiring songs, and then I just use those. I have a library of songs that I like, and I don't think about it too much. It's like if I listen to the song, like, when you're driving in your car and you hear a song on the radio and immediately you love it, if you get that kind of reaction about a song that you're looking for, then I download it and I put it in my playlist, and then as I'm editing, I'm like, oh, I need a happy song here, I need a sad song here. And I was taught that every time you change an idea in your video, that's when the music should change. So it helps you tell your story. So like for me, the basic storytelling structure is you have a character who wants something. They have to overcome conflict to get it. They're changed by the process. That's the structure of any movie or any commercial that you see. So I usually start my video with a problem that I have to overcome. It's like, I don't know if I can do this. So the music reflects that. And then when there's victory at the end, it's like, yay, I did it, happy music. And that's kind of how I use music. And I think it's not so much the songs that I have, but more how you use the songs in your video and the structure and how it follows the storyline. So I hope that answers the question.
Do you have a question from YouTube?
No, it was perfect.
From YouTube.
Okay, for the IOD sisters, Mandy asks when your product will be available in Australia for retailers.
Always the easy questions.
Now, is Mandy a customer?
Is Mandy a customer or a retailer?
Oh, let's wait and see.
Okay.
A minute ago.
We'll just answer
Either
for both.
way.
If you're a retailer in Australia, then you want to contact your distributor,
Okay.
and they will have that information because each country is different.
When will your new releases be available?
That's what we're talking about.
Because the relationships between the distributors and the retailers are unique per country, and so the retailer will know per what their distributor.
Right. And if you're an end user, ask your retailer. So
Yes.
boom, boom, boom.
Gavin, do you have a question from the YouTube live feed that we should answer?
That was the one.
Oh, that was it? Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay, so from Kathy Goodson, she wants to know, and this question is for all of you, is how does she get more people to her website?
Go first again?
So many different.
Yeah, I will. We'll go around and come back.
Well, I
I
think
gotta
with
think on my answer.
Zeb and I, it's probably like
Zeb's
one
taking
or the other of
control.
us know the answer. Like, there's things Zeb does, and then there's things I do. And so, like, my main job is to make sure that people are continuing to purchase things, so I can kind of run that side of our business. And it's kind of interesting, if you look at your website, it'll show you how many people visit your website every day, and then how many sales you make. And we typically will have 500 to 1,000 people. We have two websites on either website, and we'll have between 20 and 40 purchases out of that many people. So sometimes people think, well, people are coming to my website and they're not shopping, but it just takes, it's a numbers game, right? So you gotta get more people. And the way you do that is you show people why they need that product. And there's a bunch of different ways to do that. You can do it on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, but you make them excited about it because there's a lot of products out there. Why are they gonna buy that from you? Not just because you're saying you have it. So if it's a DIY product, you show them like how to use it. If it's a home decor, you want to make sure that they know that it can look great in their home or clothing or whatever. So just using your social media to let people know, and then constantly, it's like a baby, you like raise them and they grow up and then they know certain things. The same thing with your website, constantly reminding people, if you want this, then you need to come here. And then eventually the next time they want that item, they think, oh, I can go to JamieRayVintage.com or DIY a Go-Go or the turquoiseiris.com because I know that they have that product. So I guess it's ready? Okay.
So kind of like what Debbie was saying with the music, if you was selling anything, whether it's yourself or an idea or art, I have to sell myself every day. Where people don't watch the YouTube.
It's not what people don't watch. No, it's
No, not like that. You guys are weird.
on the
No.
Anyway, try on Jamie's clothes.
That works.
You have to, what I'm getting at is you have to create an emotional response for the item or the product or the idea, whatever it is that you're trying to sell. If you can't get people excited about it, if you can't convey your own excitement about it, it's just going to sit on a shelf somewhere. It has to have added value to their life. And just because it's a candlestick that was imported from Europe doesn't mean anything if you're not excited about it and don't make it have that value.
And Zeb likes to wear women's clothing sometime on our channel.
I love it.
Okay, so I believe that people buy first and foremost from a friend. I've read reports that say above convenience, quality, and price, the number one reason why people want to purchase something is they want to feel like they're buying from a friend. And so this is what I tell the DIY retailers all the time, is that if you have a store and you have a whole store full of product like we just have here, and you're sitting behind your counter just hoping and praying that someone will come in and want to buy it, the chances are like this big. But if you go on the internet, you can reach the whole world, and through the power of video, you can establish trust, you can establish friendship, and people will naturally want to get behind you and support you. So video is hugely powerful. When COVID hit, we're all watching the news together going, oh my God, what are we gonna do? And I immediately thought of all the people on my payroll and what are they gonna do? And so I thought to myself, well, I'm not gonna make any money in my store or sell any product. I didn't think I was gonna sell any paint. I thought everything was just gonna shut and stop. And so I thought, what can I do? What can I count on for some kind of income so I can ride this wave and hopefully come out of it with something? And so I thought, okay, I have my YouTube income, and I know people will be watching because they're gonna be stuck at home. So I'm gonna go live every day, making things with my sister, and hopefully I'll make a few $100s off my YouTube income, and that's how I will survive. And that was what I was thinking. And when we started going live every day, people started wanting to buy what we were using, and so we started putting more and more product on my website, which was brand new. DIY a Go-Go had only IOD products on it, which was awesome. And so we started using IOD products because obviously we were hoping to sell some of it, and it just started, like, our sales, our average daily sale in our store quadrupled online, and I made 4 times the amount of sales during the COVID shutdown than I ever made in the 20 years that I've had a store. So it's the power of connection with people. And we weren't like, it wasn't the home shopping channel. I mean, some days it was. Every Friday it was. But it was more just, this is what we're using. We want to show you what you can do while you're stuck at home. And by the way, if you're interested in it, you can get it on DIY a Go-Go. But that wasn't the thrust of it. We wanted people to come and have a place to create, so maybe they weren't making what we were making, but they could come and create with us, if they were quilting, if they were needle felting. But our sales were
4 times and continue to be so much stronger because of the power of connection, and you can connect safely with people through video. So, that answer the question, is that?
You did. Okay, so did I skip ahead? Is it your turn? I'm sorry.
No. I just wanted to make sure I died.
Okay.
That's all. At some point. Like, I didn't know if we were going all the way down or not.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, all right.
So I think we're talking to creative businesses. I think it's really, really important to understand that there's a whole world of people that need to be empowered to create. They want to, they're timid, they're afraid. And that's hard for us to understand because most of us have a natural inclination for it. And it's really hard to understand that people are fearful to create. And right now, especially in the world that we're in, it is therapy. And it can really save people right now. And we've heard from people enough to know that it's a lifeline. And you as a creative business have the power to empower. And so I would just really encourage you to show people how to use the products. It's really as simple as that. Show them how simple it is and empower them to just begin, get started. Show them simple things. And then I'm going to be fast, but 4 C's. This is what I really just kind of concentrate on with the online. Get people to your web. That was the question. So, so I start with making sure that you're connecting. Connect with your audience. Make sure you have awesome content. And make sure you're consistent. And here's where it gets to bringing people to your web. Call to action. Make sure you don't forget to put your web address on your Instagram and on your Facebook and everywhere. And when you do a live video, tell them what your web address is because you want them to go to your store. So that's where all.
I love it when the logistics of social media, part of marketing, and the psychology of marketing intersect because I get lit up about some of that stuff. And what we're talking about is marketing. And marketing has gotten a bad rap because we tend to think of it as something that we use to talk people into buying something they don't want or need against their will, essentially. And that's so the opposite of what it is. What it is or what it should be is transparency so that you can do a good enough job sharing who you are and what you have so that people can make a decision and connect with you. That, in its simplest form, is what marketing is. And if you're doing a job of it, you win the hearts, the minds will follow. And it's so, if you're doing that transparently and it's not like a cheesy gimmick, because people know. People will know if you're putting on an act. They can smell it. And so if you authentically are like, I have something that I want to share, I think it's going to bless you, and we can connect and do business together. If you're doing that authentically, like I said, capture the heart and the mind will follow. So that is how, that's the part of it that lights me up, and we put that together, and that's how we get people to our website.
Okay, this is a hard one for me because personally I would rather have all of you shopping at one of our retailers. I know Debi feels the same way. So it's a thin, hard road to follow sometimes. So instead what I do is I want to make sure there's good product, enough product. At the beginning when I started Paint Pixie it was really hard to keep things in stock, but now we have a system. And I think that's really important. If nothing else, I want that they can come to my website, they can look at every single product I sell, and then hopefully when they're ready to buy, they're going to their local retailer or their friend's website. Like you said, you become friends, right? They're whoever they connect with online. So even when I do my lives, I try to tell people, go to your local retailer. If you can't find it, come to me, but I prefer you shop at a local retailer. So like that's kind of a hard one for me. I don't actively promote my website, except find new wholesale customers. That's something I do because I gotta look at what I offer.
I think the original question was how to get traffic to my website, right? Okay, so I'm trying to think about that particular person, and I'm thinking she might have just started out. Maybe this is a new thing. She spent, money to get this website set up, and now what do you do with it? And why aren't there sales just trickling in? That's the scary part. It's like, well, when am I going to get my turnover on what I just did, and the hours and weeks I spent building this website? The first thing I always tell people is you have to tell people. You have to use your voice. You have to use the free social media platforms that are out in front of you, such as YouTube, where the videos come in, and all of the Facebook and Instagram and all of the options. They're free and they're uncomfortable to use, but nobody's going to know about them if you don't use them and tell people. And so when she said the consistency and the call to action, that's where I was kind of going with that. Getting it out there and actually telling people, I have a website. It's kind of scary to let people know, especially. So I'm thinking that she's maybe just getting started. And for any of you guys that are just getting started, you got a website. What do I do with it? First thing, you have to tell people you have it. And then when you are on social media, you tell them where to go, what they'll find. And then video gives you the next thing of showing them what they can find, what to do with the things that are on your website. So the first step would be telling people and doing it consistently. So you post a couple of days and think, well, no, I didn't get a sale. I must be terrible. Or I know all this mindset games that goes on with all of us, especially us ladies. Guys, keep doing it. Keep doing it, and do it week after week after week after week, and keep telling them, and they will start coming in. I know that. They will. So that's my best advice for that.
Does anybody have a question in our live audience?
Hi.
Hi, do you want to come up?
Sure.
Abby, you can turn around and face yours.
Oh.
She's like, I didn't know the question's gonna be that way.
Hi, everybody. Hi, guys. First of all, I'd like to say, so nice to see all of you guys here in one place. It's a gift for me, and I'm sure for a lot of people, the Shipwreck crew. Woo, woo. So, and
Introduce yourself, Janice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Introduce
Hi.
yourself.
I'm Janice Hafley. I'm from Rhode Island, and I have a .com, Shabalot.com. Shabalot is my YouTube channel, and I want to stump you with a question. I don't want to stump you with a question, but I feel like it might stump you. The 4 C's or the 3 C's, one of them is content. And I don't feel like I love my content. I feel that my connection is why I go live. I know my voice sounds funny because I'm nervous. But I really love connecting with people.
Yeah.
But my content, I gotta grow. I have to grow. And be better. I am a retailer for Debi, and I am a retailer for IOD. And yes, it is easy to use. You said to show them how easy it is. And the transfers are wonderful. They're very easy to use and lovely. I mean, that goes without saying. So I do express all of that. But my finished products aren't as wonderful as all of you guys. And I'm hoping that, and that scares me. So when Dion said, oh, I stank, why are the sales coming in? It's because I stink.
But I didn't say that. I know the mindset game. I know the mindset game we play with ourselves.
Terrible, and that would stop me.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, I guess my question is, I don't know what my question is. I think I just need advice in that regard. Thank you, guys.
Is it directed toward any one person or?
All of you.
I like to have an answer to that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Janice.
Thank you.
Because I'm probably the least adept at making stuff look like perfection every time. I'm slightly better than average after years and years of doing it, and in fact, most of the time I am not even that great. That's why you'll see Zeb do a lot of projects, because he's so much better at the skill level. But I feel like it's okay to be average, right? Because the majority of people in this world are not high-end artists. So what I have to offer is not the same as what Debi has to offer, or the same as what Dion has to offer. All I can offer is myself and the level that I'm at. And I look at it, and I look at things that other people do that watch my videos, and I'm 100% honest when I can say it is so much better than what I personally can create. If people saw my work in real life, and some people do, it's probably why I don't sell a ton of furniture in Utah. If they saw it in real life, they would be like, oh, I could totally do that. In fact, somebody was like, oh, I thought you never had brush strokes. And she came in real life, she's like, there's a lot of brush strokes. I'm like, yeah, because I used a brush. So I feel like, don't worry that you're not like in somebody's level 20. And I'm like a realist in the fact that I am never going to probably be able to create the things that the other artists make. All I can make is what I make, and I put it out there. And I hope that it makes other people know that their stuff doesn't have to be perfect, right? They just have to like it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So if you are just using the products and being happy about it, like, don't worry that it's going to be like some life-changing, like she said, do simple things, right?
Yeah.
Do simple things.
Yeah.
Because there's people that want that, right? It's
Yeah,
everybody has
definitely.
their crowd, and just keep doing it. So that's my advice.
Can I say something too? They really want you.
Okay.
That's what they want. First of all, I could listen to you talk all day.
Oh.
And so I know that I'm not alone. And people just, your personality just exudes from you. And they, and that's what people want right now, especially in the world that we're in. People want to connect with you. They want that connection, and they're there, they're following you so that they can see that. The project is secondary. So if you're there, you're having fun, and you're connecting with your audience, and you keep that project simple, show them the mistakes. Don't hide the mistakes, because everybody makes them, and they want to see what to do when you make a mistake. So yeah, just keep showing up. Keep showing up and being yourself.
Anybody else?
When I first started YouTube, I knew I was going to start a craft channel is what I thought it was going to be, because it was before I started painting. And so I went and Googled all the other crafty type channels, and there was one called Threadbanger. And they were the biggest craft channel on YouTube back in 2012, and they had about 300,000 subscribers, which I thought was amazing. And I watched them slowly grow over time, and then they started this segment on their channel called Man versus Pin. And they would ask their followers to send them in Pinterest projects, and then he would attempt to make them, and they were always a huge mess and a huge fail. And when he started this show, they are now at like 10 million subscribers. Like, their channel took off because people love real. It's transparency that they want to see. It's the connection. And the times where I show my mistakes, those videos get lots of views. And so people want to know what not to do as well as what to do. They want to see your process. And creativity, I always say, is like a muscle. Like, you don't go to the gym and start lifting all this heavy weight. You start with the 5-pound weights. And the more you use your creativity, the more you learn, the more you grow. Definitely, when I first started, you know, I've evolved, I've grown, I've done it a lot over and over again. But people really just want transparency. They want to know about the mistakes. They love to see people mess up. Like, seriously, they do. It makes you feel better about your own mess ups. And they don't see all the process that most artists go through. It's like, yes, I can paint this piece of furniture and it's beautiful, but I painted 50 crappy ones first. So show them that. They want real.
One of the things that has served me really well, and I know that there's our personal and there's our business, and we want to be putting our best forward, but was to get over myself. For me personally, I realized in a therapeutic session that I had a bazillion project paintings that were not finished, not because I couldn't figure out what to do, but because putting my name on it was owning it, and what if it's not good enough? And when I realized that, I was like, I've got a lot of pride associated with my unwillingness to go forward and to finish the projects and to try new things, because what if it's not good enough? So for me, like, facing that and being like, whatever I come, you know, this does not define me. The results of this comes out of me, and it's an expression from within me, but it is not who I am, and it does not define it's not connected to my value. And so I can put out freely the creations, and I can share those creations without worry that what if somebody doesn't like it. There'll be a bazillion people who don't like it, and that's totally okay. If you can get okay with that, it's so freeing.
creatively. So that's my little bit.
So, hello, Janice.
Hi, Josie.
Boy, I mean, I agree with everything they say, but I can't tell you how many videos or lives I go on very sporadically. Seldom are my lives planned, and it's usually because I need to get up from my desk, right? So there are products that maybe are techniques I've never used, but I get on there and I tell my audience, I have never done this, I've never used this product, so it might be a win, it might be a fail. I have failed so many times, but I in a sense laugh at myself. I'm like, okay, well now you know what not to do.
You really do.
I do.
Laugh at yourself.
I do.
You're fun to watch.
And I love that feedback that I get from my customers, that or my followers. Wow, it may not have been a win what you wanted to show us, but what happened was what not to do. We learned something. So you know what? Just go with it. Go with it. Laugh at yourself. Yeah.
So I have to see though, Janice, how long have you been doing your business?
That long.
I know.
I already know the answer. You have to tell everybody
I'm
else.
not even sure. I think February, but I started going live in November of not live. My first video was November of 19.
Okay.
And
But you're fairly new at it, and you're doing live videos. I love that. So I just wanted to personally say how that's huge.
yeah.
Like, we're all like, wow. After a few months, you're already doing that. So what you're doing is exactly what you could be doing and should be doing. You just have to keep doing that. And your content, you don't have to worry about that. You're keeping it basic. No, it's not bad. I watched you.
No.
And I'm proud of you. Because it's hard and it's uncomfortable and it's scary and you're sweating and your cheeks are red and you're like, nobody's watching and I'm doing this and why am I doing it? Keep doing it. Right? You're making it about, you, and it's not that the content isn't good. You grow your following. You just keep doing it. Like Jamie mentioned, she spray painted a lamp in the kitchen. Are you serious right now?
The video's still up. You can go watch it.
It's still up after 100,000 views. Keep doing it, Janice, and I'm super proud of you. And thank you for standing up and asking. We have a question from Caitlin Chambers. Do you know her?
That's fine. What did she ask?
She said, what has been your favorite thing about your business and what has been the most difficult?
Is that for everybody?
I don't know. You ask her.
Thanks, Caitlin. My favorite thing about my business is that I get to go shopping and buy junk. Like literally, I get to buy junk that I love, and then I get to find other people that also love my junk, and then they buy it, and then I get to buy more junk. Like that's my favorite thing in the whole world. Like if I can just buy, right? Like I think somebody else loves the things that I love, and they're gonna buy it, and that's my job. Like that's awesome. So that's the best part. The worst part is for me, taxes. Yeah, but I think the worst part is not having more to give. Like, there's so many things that I want to do, and so many people that I want to connect with, and so many people that I love, and just not having more than I have to offer them, and knowing that there's so many people within me. So that I feel like that's hard for me because I do want to be able to be all things to everybody, and then knowing that I can't, and just accepting what I can. Yeah, that's hard.
So, I worked at a tire shop for 15 years, started when I was 17, and moved up through the corporate ranks of said tire shop. And it was awesome, it was good, it was going great, but it was not my favorite thing, it wasn't what I was really super passionate about. And then I quit my job 5 years ago, and my very favorite thing I have not missed a football game or a cheer competition or a dance competition in 5 years. And that's my why, and that's my favorite thing. Sorry. And it doesn't matter if we've got to work until 1 a.m. I'm not going to miss those games or the time with my family. And that's also the most difficult thing, because at the end of the day, it's between Jamie and I, and we got to put the food on the table too, because we did take that jump. But a large part of it was just taking that jump and having faith, and then you got to put the work in.
My favorite thing is these people, just like being able to work side by side with people that you love and respect, and they get you. They get that it is so fun to go and get a bunch of rusty crap and then sell it to somebody, and somebody loves it. And just having the community is amazing. That's why I do what I do. I love, I mean, it's awesome to be able to shop for a living. Like, here's this rusty, crusty little thing, and I was like, oh, and they're fighting over it, and they're buying it. That's amazing. Like, I love spending money with her.
My brother's like the same thing. Debbie and I like to shop.
Yeah, in Paris, Jamie and I and Kathy, we were just like, we couldn't get enough of the shopping. It was so much fun. The hardest thing is the responsibility that I feel. As you grow, you become responsible for your team and their livelihood, and the responsibility I feel to make every follower feel acknowledged. It's a huge responsibility, and I couldn't do it without knowing that it's not really my responsibility. It's God. I do what I can do, and just trust that it's enough.
I'm gonna say my favorite thing about why'd you have to start the tears, man?
I know, you set us all off.
Seriously. Definitely the favorite thing about being in business, and it's really taken us by surprise, is just the impact that we have had in people's lives. We get emails that are so shocking, really, because you think this is a product. At the end of the day, it's just a product, but we're able to change people's lives, and that is really amazing. And when we get those emails, it reminds me of why we do what we do. And sometimes you forget, and days go by, and you're kind of in the grind, which will bring me to my next thing.
Maybe a little cranky.
Maybe a little. You know, the logistics of it can weigh you down sometimes. And right now, with COVID and the craziness and trying to meet people's needs, people can get angry with you too. And that's hard. That's hard. And you have to still love them, and you want to still love them. But then you get those emails, and you remember the why, and you remember how much you're impacting people's lives, and that's my favorite thing.
That opportunity to serve. Yeah. Awesome. This is a total real moment. So many times, the hardest things in life are the best things in life. And for us, for our business, I have to be completely honest, one of the hardest things is doing business with family. Husband, sister, daughter, but like I said, it's also the best thing. When somebody owns a piece of your heart, it's a completely different situation than maybe a coworker who's a nice person that you see daily and stuff like that. Working through problems, like when you care so much more what this other person thinks about you and about your abilities and about your smarts and your ideas, takes it to a level that is just harder to do. And one of the lessons we've had is have the hard conversations with grace frequently. So for anybody whose family is, you're in business together, that's, I'd say, the hardest, but also truly the best part of it. So
Same definitely for me, when I get like the sisters, I get those emails out of the blue from customers. I love your product, Lindsay, the best brush out there I've ever used. I mean, that just warms my heart to know that. I can't even tell you how much that means to me. And so it pushes me to want to keep developing and finding new products for all of you. So that's my favorite part. One of my favorites. My least favorite part is when I want a product and my husband tells me no. That's my least favorite because he's my CFO, and he crunches all the numbers. And if it's not going to pan out, and what I mean by that is how much can we sell it for retail? If it's too expensive, and we have to be honest with ourselves, and Deanna and I have a lot of hard hearts, don't we? Because I need someone to bounce ideas off of, and she'll be truthful. So if we think it's too expensive or whatever, and he tells me no, that is honestly the worst part about my job because I want everything.
Well, my favorite is what everyone said. It's exactly, I kept going, oh, yep, you got mine, and oh, she got mine. Yeah, exactly. Working from home has, that, 5-10 years ago, you think that's not possible. But I also, one of my favorite things would be self-discovery, I guess. Finding out we are capable of so much more than we ever imagined. And it's enlightening, and it's what seems myself grow. And I showed up 3 years ago, almost exactly. And I met Debi, and I met everybody else here, minus Zeb. You should have been there, man. But I got a chance to meet him again. But I showed up just 3 years ago, and we all met. And it changed my life because I boarded the plane to Delaware scared to death. It was like, she asked me to come, and I said, I can't. And then I was like, okay, I can. I will do it, even though I'm scared to death. But it was life-changing. And so I really enjoyed the self-discovery of like, yes, you can, girl. You can stand up, and you can sit on a panel with all of these intelligent, beautiful people and speak from your heart. So that's been my favorite part, I think, is just like, wow. There's people in your life that aren't here any longer, and you think, they could see this. If Debbie's mom could see, there's people that you think, if they could see this. So that's the real me. That's me, real.
And that's true for everyone. You all can do so much more than you think you can.
And Gavin is watching our YouTube channel, so he has a question from somebody from YouTube.
Zillion Crown was wondering, this is a question for Jamie, are you going to make a Shipwreck stencil?
Oh. I didn't even know Shipwreck was a thing. I just thought it was glass. Until Debbie started coming out with her lives, and I was like, how did I miss that? I'm her #1 fan. But if there's enough demand for it, then absolutely, because I have an amazing manufacturer. Her name is actually Bethany. I don't even know if she'll even see this, but in business, when you set yourself up with people that are willing to help you, it's amazing. And so Bethany would probably absolutely love to.
There's
Shipwreck,
the design already drawn out.
Through, so
You already did the design.
give me a couple months.
Awesome question. Thanks, Jamie. We have you committed now on.
She's like, okay, and this question was from Deborah Rossi, and she wants to know, and this is for all of you, how did you get over your fear, or did you have fear, and just jump into a creative lifestyle?
How? I would say that doing it out of necessity. Little ones, ball games, so many stinking ball games. Jumping into it thinking, okay, what have I always been told I'm good at? let me just think about, I've always been told I'm good at this, this, and this. Well, they're creative things. How can I turn it into something? And exploring those ideas. Well, I'm good at this, and I'm good at this, and I'm terrible at this. Stay away from that. You already tried that before. And just getting in there, and it was really out of necessity, guys. Staying home and running the kids, and you know, Matt had been self-employed, so he worked so many hours. But I also needed to attribute to the income, and it was do the hard thing because there's boys. And they always need bats. Why do they always need wooden bats? I'm like, my goodness, you broke another bat. So I would say I jumped in it because I needed to. It's necessity. There was no other option. Okay.
For me, my creative life started more than 20 years ago. I remarried 20 years ago. Prior to that, I was a single mom and working at a smaller home center store, smaller like a Home Depot. And from there, I learned how to bow paint. By the time I met my husband, I was doing that as my second job for my kids, but I was too scared. I was good, but I was too scared to jump in. That meant I lost all my benefits, did all that. So when I remarried, my husband said, quit your job, do what you love. And if it wasn't for him, none of this, I can tell you that perfect. He is just fantastic. So my husband, I love him, my husband, and the fact that he wants to see his wife happy and do what she loves to do.
Mr. Pixie!
Woohoo! I have enjoyed doing creative things for as long as I can really remember, whether it was cooking or mostly cooking as a child, being young, things like that. So I can't really remember a time where I wasn't doing something creative, and I feel like it was an early age when I was okay just doing it, even if it wasn't awesome, to a point. And that's all I've got.
But was the question a creative business specifically, not just being creative, but to jump into, like, to take that. Yeah, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. Josie and I have no rational fear of things like that. And Maddie can attest. It gets us into trouble sometimes. We just jump in, and it's just kind of the way, because we have each other. That's the truth. If it was just one of us, we probably wouldn't have that confidence. But it is so scary, but we're not scared. And I think it's because, hey, we go down together. If we're going down, we go down together. But it really has been fun. But we have surrounded ourselves, as we've scaled our business, with people who have rational fear. And so it's been really good for our business.
And then we just have to talk them into it.
Yeah, exactly.
But you have each other, once again.
Yes, yes. So it is risky, but yeah, I think we've got each other. So that's what makes it not feel so scary for us.
My acting coach said, and it's like burned in my brain for the rest of my life, and then you have those moments where you hear something and it changes your life forever. He said one night, creativity is a survival instinct, and that has always been, like Dion said, it's like I didn't have a choice. I knew that I tried other jobs, I was miserable, and I knew that even if I lived below the poverty level, I was going to do something being creative, because that's the only thing I know how to do, the only thing that makes me happy. And I've said to my sister before, I said, you know, if the world ends, if we're like in an apocalyptic situation, you'll find me sitting in the dirt rubbing two sticks together to try and create something pretty, because that's the only way I know how to survive, and it's always saved me. And I think you have to jump in and then swim, and that's how you learn. But you have to take that first leap, and then, like when Zeb quit his job, it's like, okay, sink or swim, you know. But you have to take that first leap, and then you make it work, and then you figure it out. And it is, for me, it's every day, it's survival. Like this store,
oh man, the rent is crazy, 10 times more than any rent I've ever paid before, and it's like, you're, you know, do it now or not. You're 54 years old. When are you going to do it if you don't do it now, even though it's COVID? And I would never, like, it just for me, it's like if I said no to it, I would always wonder, and I think entrepreneurs have that kind of suicidal tendency. Creativity goes, it's like you just got to do it. It's something in you that, like, your butt is on fire if you don't do it. Yeah. So that's why.
My butt's not on fire. But what was the question again? The courage. You know, I think for me it goes back to being a very awkward child who was told every day that I was like weird and different because I was like an extreme minority growing up through elementary school and junior high. And I was just like, whatever, like, you think I'm weird, I'm just gonna do what I want anyways. And I remember like selling friendship bracelets in my front yard, or those little like those little sun catchers where you melt the beads and you make, I mean, I was always selling something. And I was like 13 the first time I painted furniture, and it was probably awful, but I was like, oh my gosh, I am so good at this. I'm gonna keep going. And then, you know, I met Zeb, and he's actually like 1,000 times better in like the artistic skills of things. Like, he's just really artistic, and he just is an enabler for me.
That's true.
It's true, right? So anything I ever wanted to do. So yeah, I just had the courage because I was told I was weird and stupid and dumb and different, and then I learned not to care, and for the rest of my life that's really served me well, that I was made fun of. And then, like Dion said, boys always need bats, girls always need dance costumes, and we were so poor. Like, if you took, like, we didn't have 2 nickels to rub together, we were so poor, and I already had 2 other jobs. So I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna be creative, and then it started making money, and I feel like that gave me the courage. Like, somebody bought something that I painted, and then I painted 2 things, and somebody bought 2 things, and I was like, okay, like, I'm an adequate DIYer, but people are buying my stuff, and then that courage just grows. So.
That's a lot of great answers to follow up with. For me, creativity, and I feel like some people have to discover it on their own, but I've always loved to draw, loved to build things, loved to make things, from building forts out in the woods to little wooden ships with the scraps from my dad's projects on houses and things like that. And then when I got the chance to make a living at it, I'm like, I am not going to screw this up. I am just going to work and work and work until it goes. And it's something I love, and I think the reason I love it, it's less about validation from other people for me, but I just love making things with my hands, working with my hands, constructing things, and turning a blank piece of wood into a corbel or a candlestick that someone else is going to enjoy. And even if they don't like it, maybe my first 82 tries were not great. Just keep working at that until you are good at it, and that's part of the creative process. And I think it's so rewarding, and it's innately in us to create things and to make things better than when we found them.
We have time for another question if somebody in the audience has one. Come on up, Amy.
Hi, I'm Amy Robinson. I'm from the Indianapolis area, and I'm here with my sisters. Some of you guys want to see. Yeah. So my question, it's Amy Robinson, and my business is Mama Bear Blue, and I'm a retailer for, I think, all the things. Yay! Yeah, all the things. Yeah. My question is, I'm just a little under a year in starting my business. So I'm just wondering, if you guys could go back to about that time when you were starting your business, is there anything that you guys would have done differently or regret doing?
So I probably would have started the YouTube channel sooner, focused on the Facebook Live videos sooner, and not worried so much about, because we started our YouTube channel in April. Our first video didn't come out until August of 2015. and it just takes doing it. I would look back at that and be like, okay, the social media and the online connection, we've been talking about it all afternoon. Just making the personal connections with people, worrying less about necessarily the bottom line, and just creating things that I love that are working. Don't starve yourself to death. You gotta still sell stuff, but getting that out there so that more people can see it, because I can only make 100 things a day or X amount of number of things a day, and then at some point I have to pass that on to someone else. Otherwise, I'm just going to stay where I'm at forever. That answers the question. I rambled.
I feel like that was good. You circled the wagon.
All right.
I would say get your website started and get going, because so many people are worried that nobody's ever going to buy anything. But if I would have started my website, so we have two, so we have January Vintage, and that's like the DIY products, and then there's January Vintage Home. And I put off starting January Vintage Home because I said I'm too busy. I can't sell home goods. It's going to be awkward to ship stuff, and it's just going to be a lot of work, and I just can't do it. And people would watch our YouTube channel and they would say to me, I wish I lived there, because I would totally, because we started about the same time. I wish that I lived there because I would shop your store. Like, why didn't I start my website then, like years ago? Like, I left thousands of dollars on the table. So I would say, like, don't wait for it. You don't have to spend a ton of money. Just find a platform that's easy enough for you to use. Take pictures with your phone. Get a free editing software and edit them, and put your stuff on there and just do it. So that way, when the following comes, they know where to find your stuff. So get your YouTube channel. Get your website started. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, yeah.
There's so many things I would have done different. If I would have done there's probably 5. If I would have done those different, I would not have lived below the poverty level for more than a decade. I would have not had to sleep in a sleeping bag on my parents' floor for 3 years. And those things are video. I should have started my YouTube channel the minute YouTube started. It's life-changing. And the other big thing that I just started because of COVID was my Facebook group. I never wanted a Facebook group because I would watch yours. And it's hard. Like, people just say all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, oh no, I don't want that. All my retailers have Facebook groups. And I don't need to have one, because that, I don't know. No, I don't want to hear any of that stuff. But then when I did, I started it because when COVID started and we started going live, the followers started asking for it, saying, I wish I had a place to share my photos and to show you the things that I'm doing. And that was huge. Like, the Shipwreck crew is so much more than 7 years of YouTube. I'd post all these videos to YouTube with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but I didn't know who they were really. I just recognized their names, and now I feel like I know you, and you all know each other. It's not just the connection I've made with you, but it's the connections and the friendships you're building with each other, and that sense of real community. You know, Gavin and Shabalat and all these people, you're building relationships, and that is so valuable, so much more than just making money. So yeah, creating a community for yourself through some kind of social media platform where you can connect and your followers can connect with each other is so priceless. And it took me 8 years to do that. I should have done that at the beginning.
I think if I could go back and tell myself something, it would be don't try to do all the things. To start with 1 or 2 platforms instead of trying to do all of them at once, and do those well, and then grow from there. Add a platform from there. I just remember there being a lot of anxiety about everything I had to know. And if I could go back and tell myself something, it would be that. It would be choose one, calm down, show up, pick a platform, take a deep breath, and just build from there.
I was going to say also, if I could tell myself, which is a little bit of a twist on the question, but that's really what I would say is that when you start a business, probably most any type of business, you feel like everybody else knows more than you, everybody else has got their business stuff together. Nobody else is figuring it out as they go. There is stuff. And so you feel like, and the thing of it is it reframes the way you look at problems. Now, having done this for a while, we're realizing when you, the further you go, like, everybody kind of has to some extent, figure it out as they go. Ask the right people the right questions, but figure it out as you go. And what I've learned is that the problems, if you think like I have to know it all, everybody else knows it and I don't, then you're looking at problems as disastrous. Reality check. The problems don't go away. The problems keep on coming, and they do. They get bigger. And
they get more public.
And they don't go away. And your job isn't to not have problems. It's to be able to respond well to the problems and process through the problems and learn from them. And so many times there's opportunities there. Look for those opportunities. Like, I made a mistake here, but this is an opportunity for me to tell this customer, I am really sorry, I dropped this ball, but let me make it up to you. So it's just a whole mindset switch that if I could go back in time and say, change your mind about this. Everybody's figuring this stuff out as they go. Problems are opportunities. It's okay. That's what I would say.
I think I can almost, do I have something on here? Gosh, this is hard for me because the truth is, I really wouldn't change anything I've done. I think I'm really fortunate to have the husband that I have. Although he works for a huge corporate, billion-dollar company, he's in management, and but he grew up with parents who own their own businesses. So he's the one that builds all of these fancy spreadsheets. He does what's called a run rate sheet. What I have learned though, Amy, in the very beginning when I was starting this, as I said before, I started it so that I could offer all of you a product, a good brush. I had 4 brushes I started with. By then, I had shut my shop down. I went from being a paint contractor to owning a shop, closing that down to travel with my husband for a little bit. And then when I closed my shop, I still had a ton of brushes left from another company. Started selling, I accidentally joined her group. It was. I thought I was buying a tutorial on how to stage. That's the God honest truth. But Dion started looking, she was looking for a good, teacher. No. Anyway, bottom line, Dion was promoting this other brand for me. And I go to my husband after I placed a second order and I was using a distributor. I said, I think we really have something here. So this is what I would probably tell myself if I could go back in time and see it. When I finally found the manufacturer I have, I didn't use the one that I was using. He wouldn't sell to me because he had a distributor in the US. So I found my manufacturer in Italy, contacted him. I said, can you make this brush? He said, I can, but I didn't want just one brush. So we chose the 4 brushes that I thought would do the best. Asked him how many had to order. I tell you, I could not tell my husband at first, and that's no lie. That is no lie. This man has supported every business I had, and although I never lost money, and just so you know, the paint always carried me in my store, not the furniture, paint. So when I finally had the nerve to say, okay, I think we have something here, Jerry. I keep reordering from this other company. I really think we have it. It's like, okay, well, how many do we have to buy? And I told him. He said, how long do you think it's going to take to sell all those brushes? But I really don't know. I don't know because I just know that I will order maybe 3 or 4 dozen of each kind that I had, and I only had 3 at the time. He says, do you think you could sell that many in a year? I said, I honestly don't know. All I can do is try. Let me tell you, because of this one, the French tip, which I still is one of my #1 brushes, because of this one, I was sold out of that brush in a month. The rest of the 3 brushes, within 2 months, I was sold out. So if I knew this, if I could see, I would know and have faith that I should have ordered more. Because there is nothing worse than being sold out because you're losing revenue. And because my husband is a businessman, or, you know, we discuss when it's time to order, I got to blame him. I said, you didn't let me spend the money. It's your fault. But, so, and that is the truth. I get to blame him when he tells me no and I know I need something. But anyway, that's, you just don't know, but that's my biggest regret on when I first started was not ordering enough, but
Amy, I think that if I could go back and do something over again, there are several things, but I think I would have started teaching sooner. It's opened me up to a whole new world of, well, you guys and them, and it's just opened up a whole new world for me to teach. And then I realized I love it. I didn't know that either, but I was scared of two things, and I remember people saying, how do you do? When are you going to do? Can you show? And I would say, no, I'm not going to show you how I do what I do. Two things. You're going to think I'm crazy because I'm throwing water on wood furniture. Or I'm using tools out of Matt's toolbox that you would think, that's not a paint tool. And so I was scared that I was going to lose all credibility that I had learned, or I felt like I was starting to gain some traction. By actually showing people what I was doing to create these layered and blended looks. And then two, I was scared that everybody was going to take my idea and my business was over and I was going to never sell anything again. So I realized if I would have just been faithful and started teaching sooner, that was something I would do differently. I would have started earlier. It opened me up to meeting all of these ladies, and maybe I would have known them sooner, and all of you sooner. So that definitely, yep, that's the biggest regret I have.
Okay, so we just want to, I have one last question, but before I ask, and it's for Debbie, we just want to thank all of you for coming today. We want to thank all of our YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, everywhere everyone's watching. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you to the Turquoise Iris, Paint Pixie, Iron Orchid Designs, Jamie Ray Vintage for being here. And Debbie, the last question for you is, we know that tomorrow we have a big workshop. It's the final day of your grand opening celebration. But they want to know, what next? What can they look forward to? Where can they see you? What do you have planned?
I'm gonna sleep. On Monday, I'm going to the beach. And I will figure out what's next. What's next? Well, first of all, I want to say that we might have a few tickets left for tomorrow, right, Dion? We do. So if you go to the turquoiseiris.com, if you want to come to the class, we have a few tickets left for that. And then in the morning, I'm not answering the question, I know, I'm going to get to it. But in the morning, I'm inviting everyone to go to church with us. It's the Mission Church in Carlsbad. So if you want to go, there's an 8:30 service and a 10 o'clock service. I wanted to get that in there before everyone breaks. But what next? I rented this building because of the huge classroom in there. Starting on the 1st, we're allowed to hold classes again inside. So I want to have a lot more artists come and teach various classes. We had Mara coming back to teach the shoe class that we had that was a huge success. Rita Reed from Mama Bell Art, if you go to her website, she has classes. We're going to have ongoing classes, and lots of, my passion is showing people how to create videos. So we're going to have a video boot camp and DIY retailer boot camp, staging boot camps. I want to equip people so that you all can run your businesses and do what you love. So look forward to more of that. And then I'm traveling to McKinney, Texas in September, what is it, 11? 11, 12, 13th to go to Doozy's Corner. We're teaching a workshop there with Carol Lockwood, and then to Georgia, when Dion?
October 26th, 27th, 28th.
October 26th, 27th, 28th. September. 26th, 27th, and 8th in Georgia at Monica Mercer's store, which is called
M&M Mercantile.
M&M Mercantile, and then Waco, Texas.
The end of October.
The end of October. Dion has a sold-out retreat, so more travel. Yeah.
Reaching more of your community that loves you so much.
Yeah, so, yeah, and the store will be open every day except for Monday, so come see us. And we love you. Thank you all for watching.
Thanks, you guys. Thank you.
How do I turn it off?
Let's see, hit the X. Thank you so much.